The death toll continues to grow as rescuers widen their search in the aftermath of Hurricane Ian. Early voting is underway for the midterm election in Virginia as things start to heat up for the key swing House state. Seats at UNT's Apogee Stadium aren't being filled. We dive into the issue of why students choose not to come to the games later in the show.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Thanks for joining us on ntTV News at Noon. I'm Isabella Quintanilla.
And I'm Alec Rapp. Just a little while ago, Beto O'Rourke made an appearance at our campus.
Our live reporter, Kayla Bumpus, is there now to tell us more about this event. Kayla?
Thank you so much, Isabella. I'm here outside of the Gateway Center where Beto's college tour event just ended. I have Ian Balderas here with me to talk about how it went. How did you enjoy the event?
I thought it was really good. Beto's a really charismatic speaker, so it was a good event.
What made you come out here today?
Well, the tickets were free, but no, I think it's really important that college kids especially become politically aware and active.
What all did Beto talk about?
He talked about how important this election is in particular, especially with the state of our democracy in this country. With how the Texas GOP has been recently, it's really important that we have somebody in there like Beto right now.
Was there anything Beto said that stood out to you?
I really liked his immigration takes. He said it was really important that we provide a legal citizen pathway for people that's better than the current one that we have right now.
Did this influence your event? Did this event influence your vote in any way?
Oh, well, I was already going to vote for Beto before this, but this definitely didn't hurt anything, and it only reinforced my values, and now I can convince people better to vote for him.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ian. That's all I have from the Gateway Center. Back to everyone at the desk.
Thanks, Kayla. Starting tomorrow, opening statements in a key case involving 5 defendants charged in the January 6th riot will be taken. Prosecutors will be presenting their case on why they claim some of those who allegedly planned the attack in a seditious manner. Legal analyst says its use shows the Department of Justice that the breach of the Capitol is a major threat to the country. Attorney General Merrick Garland originally was against using sedition charges on the Oath Keepers, but over time, investigators were able to find evidence on the issue, and it was added in January. The 5 alleged members, who have all pleaded guilty, will face jury on charges of sedition and more.
As the gubernatorial election draws nearer, officials from both major political parties are focusing on or keeping a majority or gaining a majority in the House. CNN's Dana Bash has more about one specific swing state and what issues are at the top of politicians' and voters' minds.
Early voting is underway in Virginia, and incumbent Democrat Elaine Luria is out pressing the flesh.
And I'm going to put your sign
Great.
in my yard.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Her race here in Virginia's Tidewater region is one of the most closely watched in the country.
If you look across the spectrum in the country, this is number 218.
218, meaning if you win or lose, it could determine whether or not Democrats have control of the House. That's a lot of pressure.
I spent 20 years in the Navy. I'm used to operating in a high-pressure environment.
Luria is a retired naval commander who served on 6 warships as a nuclear-trained surface warfare officer. She's also a veteran of 2 intense political campaigns. Her first win in 2018
this gavel
helped deliver Democrats their House majority. This year, her Republican challenger is also a Navy veteran, a pilot, nurse, and now state senator. She mostly communicates publicly with voters through paid ads.
Driving inflation down, so groceries cost less.
That message is resonating with voters like Jason Fichetti.
What's driving your vote is this?
This was $127, and a year and a half ago it would have been $75, $80.
He feels let down by Democrats in Washington.
I'm a staunch independent, but it's been going to one direction lately because they don't care about me.
Gas prices are absurd.
But Ryan Farmer says Democrats are not to blame for the struggling economy. He's supporting Loria.
I don't care who's president, the gas prices are going to be expensive. It's just the way it is right now.
Keegan's team declined an interview or to share information about where she would be campaigning. They offered us Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares instead.
A lot of people candidly are concerned about what they're coming out of Washington. They don't think they're focused on the right priorities, and they think they're spending too much money and it's impacting their wallet.
Why is inflation Elaine Loria's fault?
Well, she's voted with Nancy Pelosi over 98% of the time.
We will continue to cover more election issues throughout the fall. The election for Texas governor will be covered right here on ntTV on November 8th.
You know, Alec, I have been loving this cooler weather we've been having lately. It finally feels like fall.
Yeah, it really does, and just being able to kind of walk outside and not feel like you're gonna die when you walk outside because it's just insane heat. It is really nice. Yeah. And let's check in with our weather anchor, Ebony Kennedy, to see what we can expect next.
I'm loving the weather as well. It is sunny outside. However, we have a temperature of about 71 degrees. It may feel like it's about 65 degrees. However, it's not much wind. We only have a wind speed of about 1 mile per hour, so that's not much. Let's go ahead and take a look at those current conditions for tonight. Tonight, the temperature will be dropping, so I advise if you plan on going out, don't forget to grab a jacket. The temperature will be about 54 degrees. However, it will feel a little bit high of about 67. It will be a higher wind speed of about 13 miles per hour. Tomorrow, the weather will be the same as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at those conditions. Tomorrow, it will still be sunny of about actual temperature of 63 degrees, but it'll feel like it's about 67. However, the wind speed will be about 3 miles per hour. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Ebony. The death toll for Hurricane Ian has risen to 83. Rescuers are continuing their search as the worst of the storm has passed.
We will have updates regarding this developing story up next, so stick with us.
UNT is more than 125 years in the making. To find new solutions, we create a new point of view. We know what's possible when creativity, originality, and independent thought converge. We're ranked a Tier 1 research university. We're home to excellence the size of Texas. Define your future at UNT and soar to new heights.
At a time when misinformation is all too common on social media, we take great pride in bringing you the news that matters, that impacts your family, news you can trust. Local broadcast journalists bring you the facts, covering the stories breaking in our community and across the globe. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on local journalism. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
It's that time of year where everyone plays a dangerous game with the flu. Going in uneducated, you run the risk of symptoms like cough, migraine, and fatigue. Don't be like this guy. Combat the flu with cough drops, ibuprofen, and a good night's sleep. Be smart, don't catch the flu.
UNT is more than 125 years in the making. To find new solutions, we create a new point of view. We know what's possible when creativity, originality, and independent thought converge. We're ranked a Tier 1 research university. We're home to excellence the size of Texas. Define your future at UNT and soar to new heights.
Here in Denton, the weather has been pretty decent lately, but you never know what's coming with Texas.
You never do, Isabella. I feel like Texas has kind of been throwing out some lottery numbers the past couple of weeks. It's like, hey, we're going to give you a 97 here. We'll give you an 80, and then we're just going to throw a 58 in there for fun. But let's check in with our weather anchor, Ebony Kennedy, to see what we can expect.
The weather across North Texas has been in the 60s lately. Here in Decatur, you have about 61 degrees. In Graham, it's about 63. In Fort Worth, it is a little bit lower of about 62, but in Dallas, it's a bit higher, about 67 degrees. Let's go ahead and take a look at the weather across the regional map. In Amarillo, it's about 61 degrees. In Oklahoma City, it is a bit higher of about 67 degrees, and in Shreveport, 68. However, Houston does have a higher temperature of about 70 degrees. Let's go ahead and take a look at that 7-day forecast. On Monday, we have a temperature of about 86 degrees, however, a low temperature of 54. On Tuesday, Wednesday, it's about 87 to 88 degrees with low temperature of 59 degrees. On Thursday, it will pick back up in the high 90s with a low temperature of about 64 degrees. On Friday, it will drop to about 84 with a low temperature of 56. On the weekend, it will be 77. And then on that Saturday, it will pick up to about 83 degrees with a low temperature of 59 degrees. And back to you guys at the desk.
Florida communities are starting the unimaginable task of cleaning up and rebuilding just 5 days after Hurricane Ian hit the state. Most people are just trying to get basic infrastructure rebuilt and restored. So far, at least 83 people were killed in Florida, and at least 4 others died in North Carolina. CNN's Ivan Rodriguez has more.
The situation on the ground is filled with challenges. We're still seeing shortages in water, gas, and electricity. We're also hearing from both survivors and victims. As search and rescue efforts continue, more deaths are being reported. Days after Hurricane Ian ripped a deadly path through Florida, residents are left with the daunting task of picking up the pieces that are left behind.
We don't know our future because we don't know, can we rebuild?
But where and how do they start? Some communities still don't even have the basics like power or running water. Not to mention many local stores and businesses where they could have purchased supplies or hired services have also been damaged or destroyed.
That's a concrete floating dock, which is on the other side of our house. I don't know how it's going to get off of there.
And then there are those who face additional cleanup challenges. Their homes cut off when bridges were washed away in the storm or roads were swamped.
They're stuck on islands, either man-made islands that have been there for some time that are surrounded by water, but more importantly, those are areas that weren't islands before, and now they are surrounded by water.
Search and rescue efforts are ongoing. The governor's office says more than 1,600 people have been rescued since last week, and it will take months, if not years, for these hard-hit communities to rebuild.
People need to take care of their emotional and mental health because we're really going to need to work together on this.
Governor DeSantis is standing by decisions from Lee County officials whose evacuation orders came a day after those from nearby counties. For many who survived the storm, the road to recovery will be long. In Fort Myers Beach, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Floridians and everyone else affected by Hurricane Ian are facing an emotional roller coaster as the search for survivors continues and the death toll rises.
The death toll for Hurricane Ian has now reached to 83. The rate was expected to rise as floodwaters pushed from areas outside the state. Emergency workers have rescued hundreds of people through homes and buildings overpowered with water. About 85 deaths related to the storms have been confirmed since the crash of Ian ashore Florida's Gulf Coast.
Clay County in Florida is helping out with hurricane relief by extending a hand to those suffering from Ian's devastation. Hurricane Ian has left many people displaced or without a home in Southwest Florida. The Clay County Fair RV Park is opening its gates for those who have an RV and nowhere else to go. Tasha Hader with the Clay County Fair and RV Park says that several people have already expressed interest in parking their RV at this park. The park will be reaching out to their community and sponsors to see these people and provide them with anything that they may need. The fair is also hosting a donation drive today through Friday, where they will be collecting household items, cleanup items, and donations for other places affected by Ian.
President Biden has announced that he will travel to Puerto Rico to survey the damage from Hurricane Fiona this Wednesday. The U.S. territory was hit by 2 hurricanes in the last month, devastating the island that was still recovering from Hurricane Maria in 2017. The Bidens, along with FEMA's administrator, will meet with residents and take part in a community project that bags essential items for those in need. The Biden administration is also set to announce $60 million in infrastructure funding to help bolster Puerto Rico against devastating storms like this in the future.
Remember the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge? Well, it turns out the viral sensation actually helped fund a new ALS drug.
That's right, new developments have been made, and that story is coming up after the break.
When misinformation is all too common on social media, we take great pride in bringing you the news that matters, that impacts your family, news you can trust. Local broadcast journalists bring you the facts, covering the stories breaking in our community and across the globe. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on local journalism. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Sorry. Oh, sorry, man. Oh, sorry.
Hey, listen to my flow to save some H2O. This my water rhyme, and this is how it goes. First, turn off the sink and take some time to think. When you waste water, our supply shrinks. When you take a shower, not more than an hour. Shoot for 10 minutes and save water power. Use a reusable bottle, smart like Aristotle. Ditch all the plastic and be a role model. And that was my H2O flow. Please remember how it goes, because if you don't, Earth will go, oh no!
According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, suicide rates in the U.S. have risen in 2021 after a 2-year decline. Last Friday, the CDC reported that about 48,000 people have died of suicide in the last year here in the U.S. That's nearly 1,700 more than the year before. Suicide rates in the U.S. have been rising for decades and have increased 31% over the past 20 years. Researchers found that the gap between men and women's suicide rates continued to grow as well in 2021.
Cholera disease is starting to make its way back into Haiti as the death toll reaches 8. The outbreak started just a few days ago, and the country's Minister of Health states that dozens more are ill with the disease. So far, the deaths have been from people living in the metropolitan area of Port-au-Prince. The last cholera outbreak that swept through Haiti was in 2010, which left 10,000 dead.
The Ice Bucket Challenge was good for more than a few likes. The money raised from that campaign has funded a new drug in the fight against ALS. Relvirio is a new oral medication that claims to slow the progression of the disease. ALS is a nervous system disease that weakens muscles and impacts physical function. The FDA says that there are limitations to the effectiveness of the drug, but due to the serious and life-threatening nature of the disease, uncertainty is acceptable in this instance. This is the first of nearly 50 medications that are currently in testing to treat ALS.
Kim Kardashian has agreed to pay a fine of $1.26 million to the Securities and Exchange Commission. This payment is to settle civil charges after she publicly endorsed a crypto asset on an Instagram post. The SEC charged Kardashian with failure to disclose that she was paid $250,000 to publish her post on Instagram. She also agreed to cooperate with the ongoing SEC investigation, and she agreed not to promote any form of cryptocurrency for 3 years. The SEC chair states that this is a reminder that when influencers endorse investment opportunities, it's not always right for every investor.
Full House star the late Bob Saget has a film debuting at the Austin Film Festival. The actor and comedian died at the age of 65 earlier this year from head trauma. The film titled Daniel's Gotta Die is about a man who wants to connect back to his family but struggles with the fact that they want him for his inheritance. It is the actor's final debut and one that he will never be able to see in its completion. There are over 30 films included in this year's festival, and it will run from October 27th to November 3rd here in Austin, Texas.
Speaking of Texas, how about them Cowboys? I'll have the insights on Sunday's game, and I'll talk a little bit about what's happening closer to home for UNT sports. Stay with us.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, man. Oh, sorry.
Imagine it's ice cream day at the office. And everyone from the day before voted for their favorite flavor. Everyone but you. You decided not to vote. The flavor they picked isn't the one that you wanted. But can you really complain? Shh! Now imagine that with an elected official.
Choose not to vote, choose not to be heard. Get registered today.
Hey, listen to my flow to save some H2O. This my water rhyme, and this is how it goes. First, turn off the sink and take some time to think. When you waste water, our supply shrinks. When you take a shower, not more than an hour. Shoot for 10 minutes and save water power. Use a reusable bottle, smart like Aristotle. Ditch all the plastic and be a role model. And that was my H2O flow. Please remember how it goes, because if you don't, Earth will go, oh no!
Oh hey, didn't see you there. Let's get started. This is a motor vehicle. This is the blinker mechanism. To use it, push it up for the right blinker and down to go left. You're welcome. It was easy.
Welcome back. No need to rush for the Cowboys, whose starting quarterback Dak Prescott went down in Week 1, and backup Cooper Rush, he's been perfect ever since. In yesterday's 25-10 win against Washington, Rush became the first Cowboys quarterback to win each of his first 4 starts. And this past weekend, it was family weekend at North Texas, and despite all of the festivities, the crowd at Saturday's game was still light. To figure out why attendance is lacking, I went out and I talked to the Mean Green community this past week. There's nothing quite like the atmosphere of college football in the state of Texas. And on Saturday, normally, these seats would be filled. However, in recent years, the university has struggled to get its student population out to games. I had the opportunity to go across campus and talk to different students and figure out what the school needs to do to encourage them to come to games.
That website, it's terrible. I remember when I was a freshman, I've probably been to one game in my entire career. I'm a senior right now, and I've done that ticket thing one time. The process it makes no sense. It's super confusing. They barely even tell you where to go.
Get the tickets, because people still don't know how to get the tickets. So if it was more advertising and more instructions, I think more people would show up.
I decided to go through the process of getting a student ticket myself and found that the website took a long time to load and could be seen as confusing.
But I think if they made it more of an event, like if they had some free stuff.
Yeah, I would say more giveaways, a lot of stuff when they give away free stuff.
Advertise those tailgates as a big party. I mean, you gotta remember, we like to party here as well. So I don't ever see advertisements for tailgates as often as I should. Make it more inclusive, make these people feel more welcome.
There are a few things that college students love more than free stuff and a good time. If the university wants students to show up to events, they want to be incentivized. North Texas is back at home this weekend taking on Louisiana Tech. That game kicks off at 3 p.m. on ESPN+. That's all I have for you for sports. Back to you, Isabella.
Thanks, Alec. You know, Halloween is coming up. The temperatures are finally cooling. There's a lot to celebrate. And in Chicago, there's one woman celebrating something even more important. Here's CNN's Mark Rivera with more.
She's been a staple of this South suburban Chicago community for more than 6 decades.
Yes, I'm very fortunate that I have my mind and can talk to people and enjoy people, and so that's wonderful.
Now Mary Cantway is being honored on her 108th birthday in the village of Homewood.
I'm so fortunate at the age that I am that I have as many friends as I have.
Residents from all over town and beyond writing her hundreds of cards hand-delivered by Mayor Richard Hofeld.
It's us as the community saying, "Happy birthday, Mary."
The great-grandmother of 6 still celebrating, soaking in the moment with TV cameras and a front-page spread in the local paper.
An article about me, anything else, and it seemed like it was all kind of good.
One of her favorite memories?
The man landing on the moon, which I just thought was impossible.
Cantway has lived through the dawn of a new era, through the Depression, World War II, the Cuban Missile Crisis, the COVID-19 pandemic, the dawn of the internet, for goodness sake. And after all of that and more, she has this advice.
But I think you do have to keep moving, to keep going.
And as for the faster pace of today's technology,
everybody has an iPhone in their hand. I don't want one. I know that. So I'll stick to the telephone.
Maybe we should take a page from her book. In Homewood, Mark Rivera, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Thanks for watching ntTV News at noon.
Join us again tomorrow here on North Texas Television.